Table. This is Brian Krasman from the Daily News. This is Pro Wrestling Review. Man, I've already screwed this up. And this is the Christmas show, but if you're not of the Catholic or Christian persuasion, the Hanukkah show, Ramadan show, Kwanzaa show, Festivus show, Boxing Day in Canada show.
Are you done?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I'm Ray Dieter from the Tribune Review, and there's wrestlers and lights on the table, so this must be the Christmas edition.
It is the Christmas show.
There's also wrestlers on Kermit. There's wrestlers on the Sun.
What exactly are they doing to Kermit?
I think they have him in a figure 4. That's the Fabulous Freebirds. You dare disgrace the Fabulous Freebirds?
The figure 6.
The one on the right, maybe. Of course, he had.
There it is, right there.
Whoa,
looks
hey,
more like
Kermit and the Freebirds.
Kermit
It looks like he's being
Shoulder.
attacked by them.
It looks more like Kermit having his way with small children.
Oh boy, here we go already.
I'd like to point out, by the way, Boxing Day isn't really a holiday as
I
far as
know
the
it's
religious
not, but it's on my
base goes.
WWF calendar, Jim.
Do they have it on the right date?
It probably
Do you need me to start talking about the calendar?
No. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
We're getting transmissions from
Man.
other planets.
You getting something on your earpiece again?
No, it broke last week. And that heated melee that ensued after the camera stopped rolling. Between me and that garbage man.
Yeah, which we didn't air, unfortunately.
No.
But this is the Christmas show, and that's why we have figures all over the table and lights, and apparently music in the background. I don't know what's going on here.
It's Jingle Bell Rock. Can't you make it out?
Is that what that is?
Where's the dust ball?
I'm
at?
trying.
Comment like
Oh,
that.
okay.
We're going to give away the PWR First Annual Awards. I know I shouldn't say First Annual. I'm a journalist. The first thing I tell you is not to say that. But the
redundant, right?
Yes, the first ever PWR Year-End Awards. They're right here.
All on one sheet.
We also, Jim, I have a surprise for you later in the show because we were supposed to
Really?
have a special guest and
Oh,
he ain't coming.
okay. Well, that's probably.
He's pretty upset.
I can imagine.
We'll get to that later. He does not like you.
Who does? Well, that narrows it down.
Judging by the voting for Breakout Star of the Year,
Yeah.
nobody does.
Well, you know.
Except me. I voted. I wasn't supposed to,
Yeah,
but I did.
I only had 3 votes.
Well, we got a lot of stuff to get to this week, and we're going to kind of take a break right now.
I think so.
And then we're going to come back with as much Christmas crap as you can possibly stuff into one 60-minute broadcast. You know, if you're looking for hardcore news this week, you've
look
come to
here.
the wrong show.
We're going to be giving out Dave Meltzer's phone number, so if you want all that hardcore wrestling news, you're going to have to call him because we don't have any this week.
His phone number's right on this piece of paper right here.
Do we need anything else?
No. Well, no, I mean, not in this segment.
Oh, okay.
What the hell is that?
Did you bring somebody?
I didn't bring anybody.
Well, I guess we're going to come back and sort through that mess.
Somebody get him. Where's Mr. Dickinson? Where we have wrestling figures and all kinds of suggestive poses, and
You know,
you got the man on our far right to thank for that one.
I didn't do anything. I merely set up the Christmas decorations, and this strand of lights
it's
is
just
not lit.
sad. You know, I think most of these figures are both yours and mine, and that's just sad in itself. But
Well, I didn't actually see the alterations you made on some of the figures.
yeah, so let's get first of all, before I get to my first
Oh my
point,
God! Here we go.
just to show
Come
you
on,
what
is
a
this
big,
QVC?
Yeah.
what a big goof I am. What I was as a child, the
that.
You
homemade
know, from a
Sting.
distance, that actually looks like Sting.
Well, that's why, Chris, please don't get any closer on this. Yeah, this is the homemade Sting out of a Nick Bockwinkel double I had as an AWA
Yeah, just be
figure.
careful. Don't show Jim from the waist down. He's
Right.
getting a little excited.
That's
Can
wrong.
we say that?
I just did.
But no, it's just really sad how many of these action figures are now dead.
Well, the action figures themselves aren't dead.
Some
Well,
holiday cheer for everyone.
We have some people that are dead, some careers that are dead, and
And for some reason, that ref has bands on his
yeah,
arms,
we should
much like
point
Zeus.
right. This is Dick Worley, who's like 85 years old. He's ripped like hell, and he does this. This is pretty cool.
By
too.
ripped, you mean drunk?
No, he's
And you may wonder why in the hell we're actually showing you old AWA
Oh my God.
figures.
I know
And the
never-
fact is, you cannot find these in any GC Murphy, Woolworth, or
Oh, no.
give me an old store.
You say Woolworth?
I might have. Yeah.
Montgomery Ward.
GC
Montgomery
Murphy,
Ward.
I don't know. But the fact is, you could possibly purchase some of these absolutely exquisite action figures, like this Russian right here.
That's
You know, the
Boris-
Cold War's not over yet.
Boris
That's kind of cool.
Zukov.
Boris Zukov.
as judged by Nikita Alanov at the PWX show.
But
Cold War
figures
is not
today
over.
have no soul. I'm sorry. They all look like The Rock. This guy is ripped. And
Yeah.
if you ever saw it, he's just a big piece of dung as it is anyway. He always wore the jacket to
Yes.
prevent
And
jiggles.
his head is huge.
But watch this, a double backflip onto Paul Ellering.
Oh my God!
And where else, really, where else in the world can you get a Mr. Electricity Steve Regal, the original Steve Regal?
Yeah, that's not.
So,
How about your basement?
well, that's mine. It wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Should we get to the awards?
Sure.
I don't know. I think we should find out what's going on up here in the corner of our
I don't
table
think
with
Is that Andre the Giant over there?
Jim Brunzell
Yes.
getting bent over. So
There's
I don't know.
Andre. Oh my God!
right there.
Just kidding. All right, that's.
That is Buddy Rose, though. Made famous
look at
from the
Andre.
Broadway
What's he
time.
running the camera?
Oh boy, we've already lost almost everybody who was watching the show. All 5 of them now turned
off
off.
the
Yeah,
rest.
we're going to rerun the movie show next week, by the way.
That's great. We should do that. Our
I'm
Christmas gift to everybody.
I'm just kidding. Why don't you go ahead and start?
Well, I guess we should
Start at the top.
All right, let's start with match of the year. Well, we should point out, we had our viewers go to the website to vote on the year-end awards, which we're going to read to you right now. Since like mid-November, you've had a chance to vote, and many of you have. And these are the results. Now,
And apparently Jim is reading for the first time.
And before we actually get to the official, I mean, the turnout was surprising to me that people actually took this somewhat seriously. I think we might have only gotten maybe 2 offbeat ones, and by offbeat, they weren't creative in the very least. Shame on you people. If you're going to insult us, do it a little more creatively. But most of the responses were generally what we asked for.
Most of the categories as
Very
well were
surprising.
pretty close up until the
So we
deadline.
at PWR are going to thank you, our viewing audience, for taking these awards seriously and giving us a great number of responses to sort through. So
Yep.
we're going to start with our match of the year, and
Sure.
the winner was Triple H versus Steve Austin at No Way Out from February. And maybe
out
we
of
could
3
comment
falls.
a little bit on this match. This was right before the pay-per-view where Austin turned heel. This was the last match as a face, obviously until just recently.
Yeah, it was a good match.
and
No,
that's
that's
why you're
That's
here,
why you're the
Jim.
best color man in the
I was a little
business.
disappointed. I thought maybe the Triple H Undertaker match a month later was going to win, but it just goes to show that anytime you mention a good match, Triple H's name keeps popping up on frequent occasions,
I think
if
it's
not
just
all
by
of them.
coincidence, though.
Everyone carries him to a good match,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Triple H Rock, Triple H U,
Sure.
Well, in that case, possibly. We don't know yet.
No.
One of the things the WWF put out a magazine about Triple H, just his career highlights, and there's an interview with him. And one of the things he says that struck me was the fact that he admits flat out, I don't have a lot of moves, but the moves I do have, I do them for a reason,
Yeah.
and I tell a story when I do the moves, and that's really what sticks out about Triple H for me. This match with Steve Austin, the one thing I remember most about it was the ending. It was just one of those. Austin had a chair, Triple H had a sledgehammer. They both hit each other. One fell and the other fell on top of them. Classic finish, clean.
Yeah, and
So that's what we're looking for.
he pointed out in that magazine, and helped me, Randy. He watched the tape of Pat O'Connor, and I can't remember who he fought. It was one of the only 2 out of 3 falls match he said that he ever saw end in 2 falls. And I guess he said that kind of inspired the finish. Where,
Right.
Granted it went 3 falls, but you had Austin winning the first, and then Triple H winning the last 2, which kind of seemed unlikely, at that time. But just a great match, and can't say enough good things about it.
And I'd like to just get my Rock quota in for this segment,
That's right,
anyway, for this
yeah.
part of the show. The fact that Austin lost as the face did absolutely nothing to hurt his character, his whatever the hell you want to call it.
If anything, it helped.
It helped absolutely. Had a great match with Triple H. It further established him going into, I believe, WrestleMania was the next month, right?
Right.
In a kick-ass match with The Rock, I guess you can call it. But good guys can lose. I just wanted to add that.
Clean.
That's right.
Clean. Well, there was barbed wire chairs and everything, but
Well,
you
but
understand
that was the
for that
stipulation
form
and
of
that-
match,
yeah,
yeah.
right.
But like you brought up the finish. I mean, probably one of the most genuine. That's not even a word here.
Ingenious.
Ingenious, absolutely. One of the most ingenious finishes you could possibly have. Neither guy came up on the short end. Triple H was better for 3 seconds, if you want to look at it like that.
Well, I think that's a testament, maybe not so much to guys like Pat Patterson who book finishes, but Triple H had his hand in the way this match was structured, the way the finish was structured.
Yeah.
And it sounds corny, but they do call him the game for a reason. He's that into wrestling. He's
Right.
that concerned about what his matches look like and his feuds
Yeah.
are like. So when he comes back, you're going to notice a difference.
Exactly.
I
I think
think
so,
really,
too.
I really think that's going to happen.
We should point out that the runner-up to this, and actually these 2 matches were tied until very late. Whenever we said last week for people to get their votes in, by midnight of last Sunday, that helped. That actually helped to push this match over the top because it was tied with the Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit ladder match from the Royal Rumble. They were neck
Another
and neck
good
all the way
match.
to the end. Yeah, great match. But the Triple H Steve Austin match obviously edged it out. And do we want to get to another one before we go to break here?
I guess not. Mr.
No,
Dickinson
I don't think
is
so.
very,
Mr. Dickinson.
We're in black and white now, so I think it's time for us to go and move on a little bit. And apparently, it's cleanup duty here at PWR.
What is going on here? Mr. Dickens, this is ridiculous.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Review. We thank you for joining us this week. We're gonna.
I know it's the Christmas show.
Are we not supposed to be here this week? Is this maintenance?
Maybe.
Do we
I
have
know
to
we're
pull
taping on a
beggars
different
off the
day.
street while we're taping?
Well, he left. I didn't get to throw the Borzukov figure at him.
This is, you know what? We need some control in here. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Well, we're going to continue with our award show, so to speak.
I guess.
We're going to start with pay-per-view of the year, and surprise, surprise, it was WrestleMania X7, the last pay-per-view that was any good, as far as I'm concerned.
I have no basis or anything to argue about that. So that was a good show. I mean, it really. Wow, I'm really.
You
giving
don't
it-
remember much about the past year. do
No,
you?
I did
You
a lot
all
of-
right?
I did a lot of practice.
That's great.
Now the truth comes out.
So that's why you never update the
I think-
website.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to get one of those Robert Duvall commercials we have during our show with him talking about crack addicts.
Probably the worst actor in the history of acting.
But I think, I mean, if you want to be traditionalist, I guess you could say the one thing that hurt WrestleMania was the fact they had no one-on-one matchups at all in this match, or in this show, rather.
I think you're
Hey.
confusing WrestleMania 16.
Richard Pryor's waiting for you over there, buddy. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I just.
Get out of here.
Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle wrestled in one of the classic wrestling match. Triple H versus The Undertaker was another singles match, and of course The Rock versus Steve Austin.
That's why I forgot it. That's why.
You know, for once we're going to get email this week, and I'm going to support every
Well,
single
you
letter
know.
we get.
Well, hey, you can't really blame him. The maintenance guy kicked up all that dust. His hay fever.
Yeah, I'm having a
acting up.
sinus problem here now, man.
Is there asbestos in here? That could be the
Probably
problem.
is.
As far as WrestleMania, I'm not going to call it X7. It's
17.
WrestleMania 17. It was one of the better shows, I think, for one reason, and we talked about this when the event actually happened, and that's the fact that they actually had WrestleMania in front of a large crowd.
Right.
65, 70,000 people. Who is this?
wanted to be
They all look the same.
That's that youngster Carlos Colon.
Oh yeah, he was in the 93 Rumble.
No, I can tell you information about him going back about 10 years.
That's okay. This is 2001.
He's still wrestling.
That's a shame then. But one thing we were saying is about how they had WrestleMania in front of a large audience and actually made the event stick out. And I think that's probably one of the bigger reasons why this won.
Yeah, and there were some great matches too. I mean, Triple H Undertaker. I think a lot of us leading into the show were kind of dreading that one. As good as Triple H is, the Undertaker certainly isn't what he used. Not that he was ever really all that great, but you know, sort of. He peaked whenever he was feuding with Mankind, but he's really not that same guy anymore. But Triple H just pulled a hell of a match out of him, and it just a lot of the matches just had that special feeling to it. Even the gimmick battle royal, which was stupid.
But it was nostalgia. I mean, and people
Right,
always enjoy things
exactly.
like that. So that's one of the reasons why that worked. And I think another match we have to point to that I brought up to Forgetful over here, and that's Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle, a classic wrestling match.
Right.
The crowd cheered after they exchanged holds, after they exchanged spots. Paul Heyman did an excellent job in his first pay-per-view since replacing Jerry the King Lawler. He explained Benoit's background. He explained Kurt Angle's background. That's the kind of stuff Lawler didn't give you as an announcer.
Right. And if you look back at that Benoit Angle match, for as many times as those guys wrestled over the past year, that one really sticks out because it was special. And the things they did in that match, you just didn't see in any of the other ones. It was just a hell of a performance by both guys.
I'm not sure, Brian. You tallied these votes up. I don't know what was the second runner-up to WrestleMania 17.
Oh, geez. It was...
If there had to be a tiebreaker, it had to have been Motorhead's performance. Propelled
Oh,
WrestleMania 17
hell yes.
to the #1 pay-per-view of the year.
Anytime Lemmy is on a pay-per-view, you just...
You
Well,
know,
that's the only time I think he was ever on the pay-per-view. In
The only way they can make it better is at WrestleMania 18 if 5'4" Bruce Dickinson, not our producer, but the other Bruce Dickinson, is whirling a microphone around the stage and freaking out. Even if it doesn't do a song for anybody, that would be the only thing that could top Motorhead. But
you know the Lemmy did work with Lita Ford back in the 80s, right?
Well,
when you
let's
mean
not get
work,
into
you mean
that.
like musical
Musical.
work? Oh, okay. Because I know Ozzy did some work with Lita Ford back in the day. But that was,
Wow.
obviously musical.
Well, let's get away from talking about people doing things with Lita Ford and get to promo of the year.
Actually, yeah, the
Oh,
next
unless
two
you want to say something.
the next two categories we could probably group together. Promo of the year, Steve Austin was the winner there,
Yeah.
and most important title, WWF World Title, and these two kind of go hand in hand because Austin held the title more than anybody in this past year. So
Yeah, and both
we could
of
probably talk
those-
about both of them.
Yeah, well, that's another category. Both of these categories, these guys are hands down the winner. Well, these guys, yeah. Steve Austin was hands down the winner. And the WWF World Title was voted most important title. God, I can't think of the vote count, but it was pretty big. And the only
WCW title wasn't up there.
Yeah, actually, it came in second with like 2 or 3 votes, literally. I mean, that's how lopsided this was. And I think the Intercontinental title got like 1. I mean, that's how lopsided this was. But that's the case. It's the only belt that really means anything.
It just goes to show the direction the WWF and the sport's going in. If they're using the belts as props, really, and it's just the belts aren't making the wrestler anymore. It's up to the wrestler now when he has the belt to make himself, and title reigns mean nothing for anybody.
Well, the thing about promo of the year, I was actually surprised.
Nobody wins. But no, I'm just what he said.
Oh, I see. You're being facetious again. We need a facetious meter on this show. But the fact that Austin won for promo of the year, I thought, I just read it the worst. I figured The Rock was going to win it. And the fact that Austin won it in addition with the WWF title, he did put the belt over a little bit when he had it in the interviews. Most of the time he didn't. But as compared to some of the other people who have the Intercontinental title, European titles, other belts, tag team titles, and don't even talk about the belts or drag them to the ring, well, I'm happy.
Well, I don't know if you guys want to get to the next two, because the next two we can group together also.
You know what? I don't.
Do we have time?
I don't
Mr.
know.
Dickinson.
Let's push it back. I think we can
Yeah,
debate that a little bit.
I think we can hang on to that one.
Yeah.
One of the things, too, we want to mention about Steve Austin, there was a lot of question marks earlier in the year when he came back.
Oh, sure.
He had the neck surgery, and it wasn't until that match with Triple H and No Way Out, which we talked about previously, our match of the year, where people actually said, you know what, I think Austin's back. He's actually showing something. So maybe that has something to do with him winning, maybe not so much for promo, but most important title.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And Austin did build from that. And really has had a very good year. I can't really think of...
Except for that not wanting to lose thing. But
Well, some people question whether or not he was motivated this year, and I think you can say that for his promos, because other than the whole what phenomenon, he really hasn't done anything to...
That's a cool looking shirt, by the way. You know?
Oh, yeah. He hasn't done a whole lot to really spice things up, but he has never taken a day off in the ring, and he's worked hard in all of his matches, and he's done just a great job putting over guys who aren't quite established yet, like, well, Chris Jericho is now, but him before that, and now he's going to get another shot with Booker T, so...
Well, we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about who has the brightest future and who's most likely to fizzle out, and you'll be very surprised by the results. 2, 1.
Welcome back to, if this ass would just get off our set, get the hell out of here. Didn't need that. Yeah, that looks auspicious. Get the hell out of here. Yeah, SD in the back for you.
God,
anyway, before that monumental beginning, I was actually we're gonna.
I wasn't finished with that drink.
Should we point something out? We found out who this idiot is during the break. Or do we want to just wait and tell everybody who this moron is?
We should probably wait.
Should we
Yeah, I
wait?
think we'd rather wait.
God,
I mean-
talk about... What is this?
I just got SD'd in the groin. Anyway, getting back to these.
Special delivery.
Ooh, I got a special delivery. In
Buddy
the groin.
Rose
That's
has
not a
something to
double
say
pun.
about that.
I want to show a cocoa butt on camera. Come on, Andre. Anyway, well, notwithstanding that or that, we'd like to get back to more of our awards, but
Do you feel the show just crumbling?
It crumbles every time we tape.
Send
Actually, the
email.
camera's
I hate
rolling.
PWR@cs.com.
That's right. We haven't,
Bring it.
we haven't got nearly enough hate mail in the past week.
That's right.
2 new categories. You brought
That's
them
right.
up last segment. What the hell is it? Biggest future for 2002 and most likely to fizzle out in 2002. And I'd just like to draw your attention to this Larry Zbyszko figure, who won both awards, I'd like to add. But this is wrestling's only true living legend. And in addition to him being a living legend, I'd like to show Paul Ellering, who's another living legend. Stan Lane, also another living legend. Marty Jannetty. Oh no, this would be Shawn Michaels. He's actually kind of good though. We
Marty.
have Jim Brunzell, that wrestling's true and only.
Let's not,
Slobberknocker.
let's not forget Wild Bill Irwin.
Wild Bill Irwin,
See,
obviously Marty
do you
Jannetty.
realize what
Not
you're doing?
Scott
Now look
Irwin.
at Jim.
Bill Irwin.
Jim, Doomsday Device, hit Jannetty.
Oh my God, a packet of cocaine just came out of his pants.
I've missed about like four feet. So.
You realize what you're doing by playing with
Obviously,
these figures.
you
don't
see Baron von Raschke with the decrepit hand
Hey,
here.
give me that back, man. That's
He
my figure.
apparently was not master of his domain, unlike Jim, so Jim has the figure now. Straighten him out.
There we
Can we
go.
get to the awards?
Let's get to the award.
I knew as soon as he picked up these figures, Jim would
Yeah.
be useless to us now. for
We've
this
made a
segment.
huge mistake.
It's Mr. Serious.
I have to be. Someone has to be, I think. We talked a little bit about brightest future and most likely to fizzle out. It's kind of interesting that Rob Van Dam finished in first for both of these categories, and I knew if Jim can pull himself together over there, he might have a comment about this. What do you have? I mean, most likely to succeed and then most likely to fizzle out.
We
Which
have a
one is
similar
it?
thing later that's close to that as well. But go ahead, Jim.
I mean, I think it's possible. I think Rob Van Dam can be a superstar. Rob Van Dam can also be a victim of being overpushed, which he is right now. He needs time to mature. He needs time to learn, which he got with The Undertaker, which he got with Chris Jericho this past Monday. But if you keep pushing him to a world title status, people are going to be tired for him before they ever get a chance to cheer for him full time.
But let me ask you this. This past Monday on Raw, we saw Rob Van Dam versus Chris Jericho, and I don't want to get too much into it because we're not going to talk about news this week.
Why talk about current events?
What was your opinion on that? Because that was like one of the first Raw main events we've seen in quite some time where there wasn't an Austin, there wasn't a Rock.
I like the decision because it put Van Dam and Jericho. There's as much as Jericho is the unified champion, he's still one of your, I hate to say younger guys, but he's still one of your underused guys. I don't have a problem with the match. If they're building into the Rumble, and Brian has an idea with the Rumble for Van Dam Jericho, if they build into the Rumble that Jericho wins clean, then that's fine. But
And that's what you got to do. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what they're
exactly.
building toward. And it would make sense because, you could put Jericho and Ruff.
We were
Just
this
get it out of your system.
We were this close to having
Yeah,
a
it
serious
was
discussion.
Oh, like the intro. This segment wasn't. No,
Yeah.
Forget it.
This
But
is
I
gonna be
don't
a
know.
great
I think
weekend.
Rob Van Dam. I mean, it's a possibility he may fizzle out. I mean,
Well-
if Triple H wins the title and Van Dam gets a push against him,
This is what I look at, though. That could be. But I think the whole thing with you know what? Screw it. Screw it all. This is Crusher Blackwell.
Isn't he dead?
yes, he is. He's one of the 7 or 8 guys we have.
All right. Well, I
Yeah.
actually one of the other ones I'm most likely to fizzle out was Test.
What the? Can we stop showing the guy? What the hell is this?
That was
Yeah.
that was Test. You didn't know that?
Oh,
Test.
I'm sorry. Bravo.
This is
then.
the test. Ooh, there's a big fuzzball on my hand.
Let me make this point about Van Dam before this
Sorry,
set
I'm-
explodes. No, that's okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Just for being here. Go ahead.
The thing that the thing that I think about during this match is this makes me think back to Shawn Michaels at the 1992 Survivor Series. He wasn't ready for the world title push yet. Screw it. Nothing. Don't worry about it. I'll put it up on the page this week.
But you're on vacation this week.
Oh yeah. Well, who cares?
Aren't we on vacation every week?
well, let's
sorry.
talk about Test a little bit. I mean,
Why? Let's
Why
talk
not?
about toys, Jim. Jimmy Garvin's got yellow underwear on. I think that's pretty damn funny.
What?
and he's doing
Did you say funny or something else?
It's funny.
and he's doing a
it's
split
great.
too.
Well, Brian, you mentioned last week that we phoned in the show last week. I believe
Yeah.
we phoned in this effort this week. as
We
well as the
haven't
last week.
yet called in this effort at the
No,
time of
we
this.
keep getting
Come on, let's
$1,000.
give a little credence to the people who took the time to vote and
Again.
Yeah.
We
Well,
can
you want to
try.
mention? You
Yeah.
talk about the test. Oh God.
Test. Well, I tell you what,
It's
I mean,
rubbing off. It's
I'm just going to
contagious.
stick to my earlier arguments. He's 3 moves and no personality.
So's The Rock.
People like The Rock.
Here we go
I'm
again.
having kind of deja
And The
vu
Rock has a
here.
personality. And everybody knows out there I love The Rock. But
Why he
when-
hangs
when-
above you.
Right,
How about
exactly.
this? What Tess does, he does well.
I was trying to
Oh,
bound and I hit a pipe or something. what is this?
I should point out, I think we have a Man-at-Arms figure here somewhere. Where did he go?
Is there nitrous oxide leaking into the studio?
We'll find it. Anyway, back to Test. I don't even think Test does what he does well. But we can debate that ad nauseum.
Yes, to an endless.
And it's to the point where people, either people are going to like him or people are going to get tired of him.
Well, Jim, we have
this
no right
time, this time next year we'll know.
Jim, we have no right to criticize anyway. We're not wrestlers.
That's right, we're hacks.
Exactly. We can't go to a movie and criticize a movie. We can't eat and criticize the food. We can't do anything. TV
We
shows.
can't even criticize these
Well,
figures.
and
We-
obviously,
make 'em.
obviously we can't do the show either. But
So we'll
This
see
is
ya.
not going well.
we're gonna try to muddle our way through this list as much as we can. So we're gonna come back and hopefully you haven't turned the TV off yet.
Hopefully you have. I don't know.
Free pizza is always good.
It's okay.
But hey, we're doing trivia. We have a winner. Let's get right to it.
Yeah.
Last week's questions. Question 1. First 3 from the website, of course. China was the first woman to qualify for the King of the Ring tournament. Who did she face in the first round of the 2000 tournament? The answer is Road Dogg. Question 2. Who did The Rock defeat to win his first IC title? Triple H. Question 3. Ken Shamrock's debut match in the WWF was against whom? Correct answer is Vader. Not Big Van Vader, just Vader.
Just Vader.
And the question from the show last week. Damned if I remember, because
It was, there were a whole slew of guys attacked The Undertaker at
that's
the Royal
right.
Rumble.
That's
Name
right.
5 of
Name,
them, I
name a
believe.
couple of them. We had Bigelow, the Head Shrinkers, Jeff Jarrett, Adam Bomb,
Adam freaking.
British Bulldog. Hell, there was 1,000.
Yeah.
This week's winner was Tim Russo from Swissvale, PA. Congratulations, Tim, a frequent winner and a frequent entry.
Yeah.
Tell him what he's won, Bri.
Tim knows what he's won. He's won before.
Well, tell
What, do
the
we
rest of you-
change it?
Tell the
From
rest of
Original
you what he
Pizza
won.
Works in Dravosburg, Pennsylvania. That's in the United States of America. God bless America. Queen of Peace save us. You win a 1 large pie with 1 topping, an order of chicken wings, and a 2-liter bottle of carbonated beverage. That's all from Original Pizza Works.
And it's a good place.
Yep.
This week's question, after you answer the 3 on ProWrestlingReview.com, click on Trivia. This week's question is, name the first 2 participants in the 1992 Royal Rumble. Once again, name the first 2 participants in the 1992 Royal Rumble.
I didn't hear that question, Jim. Can you
That
give
was-
it to me one more time?
One more time. It's name the first 2 participants in the 1992 Royal Rumble. And Brian, what do you have to do to win this free pizza?
Oh, I don't know. You can go onto the website. It's www.prowrestlingreview.com. If you can read, it's at the bottom of our screen. You do the 3 questions on the webpage, answer the 4th one we've just revealed to you here. Send the answers to the questions to prowrestlingreview@mailcity.com. Include your name and your address, because if you don't, you ain't winning pizza. It's pretty much the bottom line there.
Yeah.
Maybe Christmas, but we ain't giving you pizza if you don't give us your name and address.
Well, that's
We're not going to come to your house. I mean, we're not going to mail you something. Just send
Well,
us the
yeah.
name and address, and we'll send you a coupon for pizza. People's like these
That's how it
covert
works.
operations.
How does it work again? You answer
Name and
questions,
address, yes.
Name and address. You get a coupon. If you answer them correctly, you get the coupon.
Yeah, well, only one person. I mean,
Only
there could be
one
10
person,
people
right?
answering.
We're giving away 50 or 60 this week. So.
Yeah, this is the longest trivia segment ever. Let's just get out of here. You know the deal. You know the rules. Merry Christmas. Goodbye.
Help this week. But let's get back to the awards. And
Why? Why do that?
Well, I
we
don't
have
know.
Man-at-Arms. Let's talk about He-Man. We're not doing anything
Well,
serious.
who are these two characters? Because I am not familiar.
Screw it. Just read the awards.
Okay, well, we won't talk about He-Man at all then. We'll get back to the awards. There's a close-up. But anyway, where do we leave off at?
Oh, my patience is wearing thin.
Yeah, I know, it's that kind of show. The next two awards, they kind of tie together as well. What?
Tom, is that your wallet, Tom?
I got my.
Go get him. Tom, you know what? Can Tom leave the set for a second to go kill him?
Wow.
Yeah, can we go to break?
Let's do trivia. I mean, what the hell?
Are we paying him for sweeping up? I mean,
Are we paying him? Why are we paying him?
I thought we were.
Read the award.
Okay.
Just ignore him. Ignore him.
Well, the
It's my
first.
wallet. Well, okay, don't ignore that. But ignore his
You,
presence.
you don't have any money. Just call your credit cards in after the show. You'll be fine.
Man.
Anyway, the first award is most underutilized wrestler, and I guess I'm not surprised, but Taz
Diet tab.
Taz won this award.
What, Jim Ross?
Oh my God, Taz! Okay, I'm sorry. Taz wins this award. Does it matter that he won this award?
No.
Does it matter he's still popular?
We've said many times on this show about Taz and how the WWF seems like they're going to push him and then they pull back again. So,
Well, you know what, I'm sorry, Ray, but Monday night it seemed like they started a story with Christian that could build.
And he lost.
Well, no, but he did get the choke out afterwards. You know, what's the harm in building him for a month?
Once the bell
giving
rings,
him
it doesn't
give him a
matter.
match at the Rumble, and
Look.
As on a pay-per-view.
I know.
It's unheard of.
Jim.
And you know, if he was on this show, we wouldn't be talking.
Just
like
stop.
this.
Just stop. Look, I made this point a couple weeks ago during a rant, and I'm just going to say it again for all the Taz fans, and I like Taz. They're not going to do anything with him. Stop getting your hopes up. He's a good wrestler. I mean, you know, if they decided to actually push him, it would work out. They aren't going to do it. The WWF is not going to push Taz. They're just not going to do it. So the more we talk about it, the more time we waste.
But I also remember you saying that if they do break into two companies, that they should keep him.
Well, yeah, but of course we haven't heard anything
Well,
about
they
that.
need a commentator somewhere along the line.
Right. I mean, is that even the plan anymore? That's the thing. Nothing has even been said about this January 7th splitting of the companies.
Well, I understand
So
that
God
show
knows.
is in Madison Square Garden that night, and as of now, the plans are on. As of this
I haven't
taping.
heard anything like that. But I
Wait,
mean,
Jim,
of
you're
course,
getting into news. We don't want to do
Yeah.
that.
Well, no news is no
Good
change
news.
in the news. I
Read the
guess.
next
Yeah,
category.
your source.
Brace yourself, Tom. Most
Oh, boy.
overpushed wrestler.
Baron
Dot,
Von
dot.
Raschke.
That's right. The Rock.
Oh, I can't understand how he won that.
Well, I don't know.
The point is, you talk about
Is it overpushed or overbearing?
Overpushed.
Okay.
Overpushed.
Or it could be both.
Well, I wanted to say something Flair said to Bischoff many moons ago on Nitro about being overbearing, but I cannot use the word here on live TV, even though this is a tape. The fact that The Rock's on TV every week and wins every week and cuts the same asinine promo every week. Do you see a pattern developing here? Every week, he doesn't put any of his opponents over, wrestles, well, matches ranging from good to bad. It's just he's too overexposed now. He needs a knee injury.
Let me preface this.
Merry Christmas, Rock.
Well, even part of I realize The Rock can't get beat down, even part of a storyline, because that'll hurt his image. That's a bunch of
Well,
crap.
let me preface this next comment by saying it seems like now that a lot of fans are beginning to agree with you. Well, not a lot, but
You heard it here first, though.
there are some that
What,
are
The Rock
beginning to agree with
sucks?
you. A small percentage, but let's face it, he's still the most popular man in the promotion. He's still doing what everybody wants to
I
see.
don't know about that, Jim.
Everything.
Billy
everything.
Gunn's famouser gets a bigger pop
Oh,
coming out.
well, I'm sorry.
Watch Heat.
I think your
Okay.
boy. I think your boy RVD might be slowly catching the Rock. I think
But,
he's
but you also
spot-
got to look at the fact that RVD ain't drawing the money like The Rock is either.
Yeah, that's true.
So
He's
as long as The
like
Rock's
a
drawing
mythical
money,
movie.
as long as he's getting the fans on their feet, which he is every time he comes out, he's still going to be doing
Yeah,
trip ups
but-
after a pile driver. He's still going to be raising the
that?
eyebrow, and he's still going to be doing.
Should I even say anything?
Did he buy his advance copy tickets for Scorpion King already? Is that why you're so high on the Rock?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact.
You
I
know
hope
what?
That movie grosses $200 million.
But
We'll never
but,
see
but,
him again.
but the bottom line is this: as long as it's still working, and right now it is, you're still going to see it every week.
Jim, I agree with you. I agree with you. But
Well, thank you.
the thing is, It's still going to work if he sells people's offense.
I agree.
It's still going to work if he doesn't do a kip up after taking 7 chair shots to a head and a pile driver.
I agree with you. The fans pop for the kip off.
Right. They're still going to pop for The Rock if his promos are designed to put his opponents over.
But since
Why
when has
can't
the
we redesign it?
since when has the WWF ever changed anything that isn't working? Let alone something that is working as massively as The Rock is.
I
They don't
agree
even
with
change.
you.
They don't even change things that don't work.
Yes, I know.
They're not going to change The Rock.
Bottom line is he's a one, maybe two-dimensional character. His interviews have not even given that third dimension yet, or his in-ring skills, or anything about him. Besides the fact that we know he's a Hollywood star, we have no history on the Rock.
I'd argue he's a one-dimensional character.
Well, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, saying two.
The thing I would love to see Rock do, and he's never done this. And how many times has he been world champion? 8, 9? I mean, he's been champion how many times? He's never given a serious interview. Ever. He's never given one of those interviews where, it's not like he's not
Doesn't
joking
end
or
in a
anything.
catchphrase.
Right.
Although I
where he's
will-
just
I
saying,
will-
he's never done that.
Even
and
though I
Tony
can,
does it.
even though I can cite one example, this I'll agree with you for the most part. But one time when he was going to challenge Kurt Angle, I forget when and where, obviously, he did have somewhat of a serious interview, and then I thought he ruined it by saying his catchphrase.
He did ruin it by saying
But
his
up till
catchphrase.
that point, I thought he did a good job with it.
But he ruined it by saying his
Hey,
catchphrase.
they'll keep doing it and doing it until he stops making money. And
The
that's
thing
not
about
gonna
The Rock
happen.
is, as soon as he set foot on the Mummy Returns set, he became an entertainer,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all. He hasn't tried to improve his in-ring skills, and you'll get people say, well, he doesn't have to because he can rely on his personality to get by. Yeah, that's fine, but it wouldn't kill him to learn how to do a
Right.
clothesline where he doesn't jump 30 feet in the air and then come down on the guy.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
it's-
right. I can't disagree with any of that.
He's an entertainer. That's what he does best. He's not going to improve on his in-ring stuff. So if you don't like what he's doing, then you're going to have to find something else to watch because he's not going to stop doing it.
And before the fate of the two companies was decided at Survivor Series, that was the pay-per-view, right? I'm getting
Yeah.
a little of a, whatever the hell you want to call it. He was singing in the ring with Steve Austin. Rather than, I love the WWF, I've held the title, it means so much to me, this company means so much, give an interview about that. He's singing with Steve Austin in the ring. Point taken and said.
Right.
Check. Mate.
But it wasn't his decision to do that, I'm sure.
Well, he could have went out there and cussed.
What are you, his press?
Thrown off.
Were you his press agent?
It works, guys. That's all I can say.
A lot of things
It's
work.
working and
Putting
making
water
money.
in a gas tank will work for a couple miles.
You know what?
This isn't a
Here's
couple
why.
miles, though. We gotta go.
No, I'm getting freaking tired of seeing this crap.
Oh, I love you too.
Okay.
What?
I'm in my case for it.
That's it. Give it away.
New York.
Oh, get him out of here.
Is that your credit card he's using?
Is
Probably.
that your cell
Get
phone?
out there.
Quickly. I should point out before we keep going, and we won't do this till the end of this segment, but Jim, I've just been handed something, and we'll get to this
Amazing.
later. You're not going to be happy.
Well,
So
am I ever?
No.
Always has to do with letters and people hating me. What's
Well,
up
you're
with
not
that?
going to like this one.
Well,
Anybody who saw the Christmas show last year, well,
Oh, you don't.
let's just keep going.
I'm already pissed.
Well, you should be. All right, we're going to keep going. Where did we leave? Okay, we're going to go with, let's go with Wrestler of the Year. This is kind of a big category. Wrestler of the Year was Kurt Angle, Pittsburgh's own Kurt Angle. And it was kind of a strange year, actually, for this category. Nobody really stood out. Like last year, actually the last 2 years, Triple H was hands down head and shoulders above everybody else. And this year, Steve Austin had a good year, and Kurt Angle had a good year, and The Rock had a good year.
Why, did you see something I didn't?
You can make a case that even Chris Benoit with his kind of a breakthrough year. Maybe not enough to give him the award.
Well,
Enough to
he
give
was,
him the
probably,
cup.
he was probably just on the cusp of being,
Yeah,
a
much like
breakout star.
Cordell
and then
Stewart
he
in the
got hurt.
MVP talks. He would
Stop!
get votes.
Stop!
I
Don't
know,
even.
I'm sorry.
Don't even.
But if it was Priest Holmes or whatever it
No, Priest Holmes. I would vote for Priest Holmes for MVP
Rushing
right
title.
now. That,
Yeah,
that,
he's
that,
gonna win the rushing
that
title.
team would suck even worse if it wasn't for Priest Holmes.
Oh,
Here
they
we
got
go.
Tony Gonzalez.
Hey, they won this year. They won this week, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Hey, they're gonna draft Antonio Bryan first.
Someone stuff a sock in John Clayton's mouth.
Seriously, you know enough about the Chiefs, and nobody else cares. So
They're not going to have the first pick, though. The Lions are going to have the first. It's going to be
but
the
the Lions
Lions
ain't gonna
and
take a
Carolina.
receiver though. Carolina has receivers.
Yeah, well, one's in jail for
Pro
murder.
Wrestling Review is on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we should get off the football talk and get back to Kurt Angle. I think it's a deserving pick. Angle did have a very good year. Just took another step into establishing himself as a full-time main eventer. And he's even one of those guys now when you think of Austin, Rock, Triple H, you do think of Kurt Angle in that
He's
category.
definitely up there now, and I think the reason he is because every time he has a match, he's one of those guys who just doesn't wrestle a bad match.
No.
And
he
that's
never does.
probably, I think, what led to him being elected Wrestler of the Year. As you mentioned, Brian, there's a lot of guys like Austin, you could have just picked, but I think he was the one guy that everybody kind of latched onto because he was not so much new, but
Yeah.
he wasn't Austin, he wasn't The Rock, he
Right.
wasn't Taker.
He was a breath of fresh
You
air.
saw a lot of different aspects of his personality, both in the ring and on the mic, and he did them all well. I mean, you saw a little bit more serious, you saw a little bit more brutal. Shane McMahon comes to mind. His match with Shane McMahon comes to mind.
Yeah.
But really, he didn't absolutely. There's not a portion of the year that comes to mind where he performed poorly.
Maybe just to expand on that real quick here. I mean, when he turned face, if you can call it that, even if he did turn face, everybody thought, oh, his character's so geared towards a heel with the goofiness and everything. He didn't miss a beat as a face. Gave
Absolutely.
pretty decent interviews. I mean, what they booed him for as a heel, they cheered him for as a face, which is just beyond me. I got to stop and think about that.
Yeah.
But Angle, I think he's well deserving of this title of the year.
I think his finest moment came during the WWF, WCW. I guess in a subset of that, Austin Angle. Really, I think that's probably his best moments of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, even Jim Ross said he really turned it up a notch at that point in the ring. What he did on the mic and
Speaking
what he
of
did
Jim
on the
Ross,
bridge.
Did Jim Ross win heel of the year, maybe? Or, no, it was face of the year, I'm sorry. But the other category, the
Yeah.
complete opposite, obviously, is the worst wrestler of the year. And if there weren't enough people to pick from, Billy Gunn won. Here's a guy, yeah.
There's no justice.
I just want to point out, and
Don't-
Rennie, you pointed this out on your Raw report. I just want to point out, 1 week after asking, demanding that Chuck Palumbo and Billy Gunn get a push, who shows, oh yeah, you can tell me I'm crazy all I want, but who shows up on Raw? Huh?
Who?
That's right.
Yeah, but he had an
Chuck
orange hair
Palumbo,
for
Billy
some
Gunn.
strange
Who
reason.
cares? They're pushing him. They've heard PWR has spoken, and
they
why
watched
did
the
why
show.
did they pick now to listen?
In all seriousness,
Yeah.
no offense.
No,
but,
that's okay.
You weren't
Billy
serious.
Gunn's, I think he was joking. Billy Gunn's another one of those guys we've talked about. They gave him a chance to feud with Chris Benoit. They gave him a chance to feud with The Rock.
Right.
That was years ago. And he's never really looked good in any of those matches. He's never proven himself to be a main eventer. He doesn't carry himself like a main eventer. He doesn't know how to cut a promo. So what the hell? Let him be a main eventer.
He's a guy who came 10 years too late. If this would have, if this was 1985, 1986, Billy Gunn
He would have been
getting-
christened the next Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, he'd be getting a huge push. He's built like a guy from the 80s. He looks like a guy from the 80s. He can't wrestle very well. Damn, that reminds me of the 80s.
And he woofs when he punches.
And he woofs when he punches. And the thing you
he
mentioned
kinda-
about the feud with Chris Benoit, we also should point out another reason why Billy Gunn is such a bad wrestler is he almost killed him 2 nights in a row by botching moves. Almost
Please don't
dropped Chris
remind
Benoit
us
on his
of that
neck.
travesty.
Well, it's just
I want you to
more fuel to the fire.
Dry heaving when I saw
I want
that.
you to stay calm as I mentioned, make this statement. Looking back on the New Age Outlaws, it's kind of one of those things where, it was a surprise when it worked, it's definitely to us. It was one of those things, okay, they were, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, they were okay for what they did, but was it just Road Dogg getting hot that made this team work?
Getting hot. You mean like getting checked at the border for
know-
his personal belongings?
You know why the
personality
Outlaw-
was, I think.
They were just two guys who people really didn't get to see a lot of. And they put them together. Road Dogg carried them. Billy Gunn said, "Suck it." It lasted for a year and a half.
That's what-
They
that's what I'm
feuded with
saying,
good
though.
people.
I mean,
That's about-
people hated him, and eventually, I mean, I guess you can say that, but Road Dogg, I mean, he came out with a lot of catchphrases that people seem to get behind.
Can you do Road Dogg's dance for us, Jim?
You know what? We only got a minute left. I want to read this for Jim because
This is frightening.
this is from Sanado, your nemesis from
Oh,
last year.
okay.
It says, "Dear Person Review, excluding Jim." This is Sanado.
Excluding?
As it should be.
Jim. I refused to show up for this year's Christmas show after last year when Jim brutally demeaned Tommy Dreamer. And let me fit. I can't even read this next.
Wait a sec here.
We can't say the F word on the show. I can't
right,
read this.
Ed.
I can't read the second.
See, what you
sentence.
guys missed
Let
on
me
camera.
Finish, let me finish, Jim. I would be here to strangle Jim, and I would be here to.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be here to make
Whatever.
sure that Jim was no longer a member of the show. Jim, why don't you go not update your webpage?
Oh,
Sincerely, Sanado.
whoa, whoa.
Now you get political.
What you guys missed when we went off camera last year was me whipping his ass.
What?
That's what you missed last
Was
year.
that
Why
before or
can't we
after
get
he
that
took
on
his pants
camera?
down? No, I'm sorry.
So
Sanado.
Sanado will not be with
I
us.
smacked the bitch out of him last year.
Well, that's not what
Jeez.
he says.
Well,
According to
of
the
course
letter-
that's what he doesn't even have the guts to be here
Holiday
this year. Writes a
season.
letter. What a puss.
Well, you know,
There we go. You see the little tree behind you? It's not back here by accident. Lou Albano's on it by accident, saying all these cussing words.
so Sanado pretty
Yeah,
much hates you.
yeah.
Sanado hates you.
He'll get his.
Tell him, Tom.
He'll rue the day.
Oh my God! All right, kids. Jim has just threatened Santa, so we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna come back with the 6th and final segment, where we're gonna find out what segments of this show you liked the most and hated the most. So we'll be back.
Next week's Christmas show. We're going to go through the rest of our awards. Best PWR segment was the rants, not surprisingly, because we all go crazy. Jim hates Test, X-Pac, Rock. No, I'm sorry.
me.
Tom hates Rock. I love the
I'm
Rock.
sorry. I get them confused sometimes. So we want to thank everybody out there for voting for the rants.
I should point out, we got an email. I don't remember who wrote it, so forgive me, whoever out there wrote this email. Somebody said that they voted for rants as the worst segment because they said our whole show is a rant. And that's kind of true because we do sort of express our opinions a lot through the show. But I think the rant's kind of our individual opportunity to zero in on one topic and just go nuts.
Right.
So that's why we enjoy it.
I agree completely. One thing we want to mention too, and this is another award that we had posted on our website, Best Independent Wrestler, and the winner was
Yeah.
Super Hentai.
And absolutely deserving. He's a hell of a wrestler. He went over to Japan for a little bit for Battle Arts, I believe, so he got a chance to do that. And there ain't a whole lot of guys, period, who get a chance to do that. So he got, what, Jim, 3 years ago, I guess, we really started seeing him when he was wrestling for Penn Atlantic.
Yeah, he started in Penn Atlantic and he went to PWO, and he really kind of developed in PWO and just kind of really exploded. I mean, the first 6 months of PWO, it was all him, and then
Yeah.
yeah, he's a fantastic wrestler.
If you get a chance, seriously, that if you're thinking about going to a local independent show and you see Super Hente on the cart, go. I mean, he's worth going. Not to discredit the other wrestlers in the area. I mean, it's always worth going to those shows. But if you get a chance to go out there and see him, it's absolutely worth your money. He's a hell of a wrestler.
And you never know when he's going to bust out the Powerpuff Satanic Girls T-shirt once again.
And he's also
you
he's
know
like-
all this, but you can't remember the singles matches on WrestleMania.
No, I really
17.
can't. I've sadly enough, I've only been to a handful of local shows this year, but
The other thing about Hente, he's like, what, 5'4"? He's small. He's like 5'4", 5'5".
yeah,
He just beats
really,
the hell out of people.
Absolutely fearless. Really has I don't want to say Japanese style because that's kind of cliched by insiders, but there's really not enough good things you can say about him.
Occasionally wrestles in a Halloween T-shirt, which I completely
That's true
approve of.
too.
Well, I'm getting this patched through my earpiece. With the good about this show, there's always the bad.
Why isn't my
And
earpiece
I have
working?
been deemed person,
I don't even have an
taskmaster,
earpiece.
whatever you want to call it, to give you the bad. And that is worst PWR segment. Not that the whole show's been brilliant or anything like that, but
Yeah, the hell
worst
you
We had to narrow
say.
this
the,
one
the
down.
worst segment of the year, and I actually take exception to this because it was, it wasn't really, I got the phone call, I was in it. It was the Backyard Wrestler interview with Timmy Rock.
Oh, there's a surprise.
I knew it! I knew it!
Oh my God, get him.
I knew it!
And now you see
What?
why Timmy Rock did get the win.
Jeez. All right, good job, buddy.
Hey!
Brian's dead.
I'd like to thank everybody out there. Vince Torto, the key master.
Skeletor.
Rick Hall, Eli Whitney, and
Better in the
JC
Cotton
Petty.
Gin, another favorite.
How is this?
He's a wrestler. He didn't know cotton gin.
You just done. You knocked over.
What's wrong?
You
Brian-
ruined
I don't
Christmas.
know, I think you're being summoned over there, though.
Jeez.
Brian can't get up.
But surprisingly enough,
Timmy Rock, people hate you.
surprisingly
They
enough,
hate
this wasn't
you.
one of the worst segments you ever voted
The
for.
Christmas lights are burning.
Brian, are
him.
you okay? How's the stitches?
Timmy Rock, people hate you. They hate you.
Get the hell out.
Get him out of here. What an idiot.
Of all the things I've been associated with throughout that whole skit, I managed to maintain my cool.
Congratulations.
Well,
You know-
at least we ridded him. Well, hopefully we ridded this show one and for all of Timmy Rock. And Brian, how are you doing over there?
I just want to point out one more time, just so the people are confused like that, Nimrod laying over in a big pile of glass. People hated Timmy Rock. He's here mopping up throughout the show. Like, wait, I didn't invite him.
Guys, what the hell just happened?
Somehow I
You know
think he
what?
got
Come on,
wind
get out of
about
the way.
winning that award.
My chair's
Hit with
broke.
Frank Langella, Timmy Rock. So anyway.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm just, I get. It's the second year in a row.
This is the first time I ever got out of my chair and had to throw somebody out of here.
This is ridiculous.
Well, hopefully not the last, though.
You know
right,
what?
Jim?
Mr.
never
Dickinson
is.
can be replaced. I mean, for letting this idiot in here in the first place is.
Your chair's like poking me in the leg.
I'm sorry. Let me fix this.
I didn't even
How
know
the hell were you sitting on it? It's knocked over.
He really, he got the award for worst segment of all time,
Worst
right?
segment ever.
Yes.
I
You
don't
know what?
people
As
today.
bad as the movie show was,
And it was bad from what I'm
the
told.
people spoke. They hate Timmy Rock. Actually, the movie show came in second for the best segment of the year.
Our set is in shambles here.
There.
You know
Lower
what?
your sperm count. Drink Mountain Dew. Oh, no, not Kermit.
Colonel got caught on fire back there.
Well,
Well-
anyway, wrapping this thing up.
At least I got to stay this year,
Get out of here!
Tom, Tom,
I've
take
never
us
seen Brian so fired up before.
take us out before Brian gets. We
I'll show you the
don't want the
truth
murder
right
to
now.
be shown on camera.
Well,
That's it.
before I take us out here, obviously, this has been the Christmas show, and we'd like to. Can we get a split screen here?
All right, Jim,
Well,
that's
I don't know
enough.
if I can take us out here or not after hearing that.
I'm still alive, but I'm badly burned.
Well, anyway, notwithstanding everything that has happened, I'd like to thank the viewers out there for throwing their mops in when we're trying to do a show here, for taking the time to vote on our year-end award show. And I don't know if this show topped last year's Christmas show, but damn it, I hope it did.
You know what? I think I broke my wrist.
Will he sign this for me?
Hit him in the balls. Get him out of
Jim
here.
seems to have left, so it's
Yeah.
time to wrap up. So
Merry Christmas.
yes, exactly. And for me, for Rennie, for Brian, and for Jim, who's currently beating the bejesus out of Timmy Rock, I believe. This is the Pro Wrestling Review. Happy holidays, if anything on this set reminds you of anything happy or holiday for that matter. But have a good holiday and keep tuning in. Thank you.